Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Who Asked Me podcast. Y'all already know it is your host, Zell, and let's get straight into it. We have some pop culture per usual, we have some shows, and then we'll do the personal life check-in at the end, okay? So, first things first, I didn't mention this last week, but I meant to. I am obsessed with Justin Bieber's new album. I don't think y'all understand. And listen, am I necessarily a believer? No. Justin Bieber makes music that I like. I have always liked his songs. His last album was like a little eh. This one, 10 out of 10 no notes. 10 out of 10 no notes. Do I know what's going on with him personally? No, I don't. I really check out of that. I can't. The Selena Gomez, Hailey Bieber, Justin Bieber of it all, that shit scares me. People are too invested. It's out of my realm, okay? But what I do know, and I said this online, listening to those songs, Hailey, I get it. I get it. He often gets on the internet and tells us things that he shouldn't have told us, right? He should have kept that shit between y'all. But when I hear what he's saying, the songs that he's singing about his wife, I understand you staying with him, girl. I get it. But I just wanted to give that album its 10s. Giveon's new album is really good too. So romantic, heartfelt, love. Moving on, let's get into some WNBA of it all. I think, am I just going to have like a sports segment of this podcast now? I don't know. But you know what? I like watching the sports, but then I like the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, the pop culture aspect of the sports. So if you didn't know, WNBA All-Star Weekend was last weekend in Indiana, and it looked like it was a ball. It really, really did. I mean, I love seeing how much sponsorship and how many just opportunities there are out there now for female athletes in general, but especially the WNBA. Basketball always has my heart. One specific section I want to talk about is the stud buds. So if you don't know who the stud buds are, that is Courtney Williams and Natasha Hiedeman. They are two female basketball players. They play for the Minnesota Lynx, and they do this stream and they call themselves the Stud Buds. So if you don't know what a stud is, it's a black lesbian. A butch, no, let me back that up. It is a very masculine presenting black lesbian. There you go. And excuse me. And they are hilarious. They stream on Twitch. They talk so much shit. I mean, I don't watch Twitch, but I watch their like snippets and stuff that they post online, and I'm in stitches. They did a 72-hour live stream for the whole weekend, and first of all, we got a Paige and AZ, like confirmation. Paige did WAG Talk. Her and AZ are together. Love that for them. We got maybe a confirmation of a couple other relationships, neither here nor there. However, this live stream went huge. Everybody loved it. It's a good opportunity for not only Teaspoon and Courtney, but just WNBA in general, right? It's very marketable. The stud buds are marketable, and they've proven themselves to be such after the 72-hour live stream this last weekend. Well, insert them saying that they might be interviewing, or they were going to interview, Dave Portnoy. As we know, Dave Portnoy is from Barstool. He is extremely problematic. The stud buds are also really good friends with Angel Reese, and Dave Portnoy has said a lot of ignorant things and damaging things, and made racists feel comfortable saying other racist things about Angel Reese. So, of course, there is some backlash from this. I don't love it either, right? I don't think that Dave Portnoy should be in our spaces because he is not respectful. It's an opportunity for him to come onto a platform and possibly, make a mockery of it, clown, all of this stuff. Well, with all of this backlash, there's a part of me, I can't lie, that while I don't want Dave Portnoy on Stud Buds, I don't love how people are talking about Courtney and Teaspoon because they're upset about this possible choice, which the choice has now been made that they are not going to interview them based off the backlash. However, the way people went about calling them out, it was a legit call out and not call in. I understand the argument. None of us want that. But we cannot ignore the racial dynamics here, in which when Black lesbians, Black studs do anything that people deem not appropriate, they don't like, cancelable, I'm using air quotes here if you're not watching me, they are in a sense just thrown out, and their whole reputation, everything they've worked for, is officially tarnished. Now, I don't agree with that. I don't think that entertaining a possible conversation with Dave Portnoy is a serious cancelable offense. Would I feel a type of way if I were Angel Reese? Yes. Is that the route I would go if I were teammates and friends with Angel Reese? No, it wouldn't be. Also, let's call a thing a thing. Angel Reese didn't speak out and say, like, she did not come out to the public and say, hey, I wish that they wouldn't do that. Those are my friends. Fuck them. She didn't say any of that. So people just got all up in their britches. But it just goes back to the age-old saying that Black women there's no room for error with us. There is none. And especially Black masculine women, okay? There's intersectionality in all of this. And I'm just going to be honest. I didn't love the way white queer people were talking about Natasha and Teaspoon to a certain degree, because again, it just gives super judgy, and we are the gatekeepers of queerness in the WNBA space. And for me also, there was no nuance. I understand that also there is a networking and financial aspect to this. We don't like Dave Portnoy. Dave Portnoy owns Barstool. Right? Barstool does a lot in sports pop culture. So when I first heard it, after I was like, oh, fuck that, I was like, I can see the potential business end of this. And it might have been something that was set up by managers instead of, Teaspoon and Courtney waking up one day and saying they want to interview Dave Portnoy, right? Also, excuse me, I don't know them, so I'm trying not to speak in a term of like, oh, they're going to tell them this, they're going to tell them that. But Courtney did say when they were streaming and somebody brought up like, oh, he talks shit on Angel. Courtney said immediately, and when I sit in front of him, I'm going to be like, why the fuck do you talk all that shit about Angel? There's a part of their just like personalities and attitudes that are like, we will ask you anything, no matter what your PR person says, no matter what they say, we don't give a fuck, we will ask you. Would a part of me love to see Courtney Williams ask Dave Portnoy, point blank period, in front of his face, what the fuck is your problem with Angel Reese because you've been doing too much? Yes. I would love anybody to ask him that, right? Because he is very hateful to her, and it is fucking weird. And there are sometimes when you just need to ask people straight up, like, what the fuck is your problem? Okay. But they're not doing the interview anymore. Moving forward, I really hope people can see the nuance and take a step back and realize how they're treating people, especially when dynamics come in. But I highly doubt that, because I don't have a lot of faith in white people. And I know some of you are probably going to get pissed off about that, but I have experiences. Okay. I have experiences. Ask yourself why I would feel a lack of trust there, rather than the lack of trust. You know what I mean? Right. So we're going to move on. Sheena. Sheena's book came out. Her Good Side, or Get My Good Side. Something About a Good Side is Sheena's book. And all week I have been haunted by excerpts of this book. I really, really have. She puts this list up of like men, celebrities that she's slept with. Includes, I think the only one I retained was Shamar Moore, because I was like, really? Of course, John Mayer was in there. We already knew that one. She said 2 people from The Notebook, no names mentioned. Eddie Cibrian was in there, and I was like, why did you need to mention Eddie Cibrian? Because that's why we're here, Sheena. We know you slept with Eddie Cibrian. That's why we're all here right now. And then also, she names William Tell. And if you don't know who that is Lauren Conrad's husband. And my thing, why I side-eyed her about name dropping William Tell, and me and Raven were talking about this if you listen to me on Bitches Better this week, the only reason she name dropped William Tell was because he is married to Lauren Conrad. No one actually knows. Okay, let me not say no one. He is not like out around celebrity. He's a musician. He's, I think, a guitarist or a drummer or something like that. Not a lead singer. Okay, he's in a band. Which one? I don't know. I looked it up. It's already out of my mind. He's not like on red carpets and shit like that. We know him because he is Lauren Conrad's husband. And I said, Scheana, see, you don't do yourself any favors, babe. Because there's the list that she presented to us it was impressive. It was. I would be curious to know about any of those men. So you didn't need to include William Tell. You included it so we could know that you and Lauren Conrad are Eskimo sisters. Besides that, she reveals that Brock cheated on her. Raggedy behavior. My jaw did stay in place when I found that out. Apparently, it was in San Diego. It was, I can't remember. Again, I didn't read the book. I can't remember when they said it happened, but she found out after the scandal of it all, and then going into filming that last season that they just filmed. She said that her and Brock were sitting down getting ready to watch TV, and he came into the room and was like, I have to tell you something. And he had a sexual relationship with a woman it sounds like they hooked up a couple times. And, they never said anything. Scheana gives an interview and she's like, people say that I always make things about myself, and this is proof that I actually don't because I never brought it up. Okay, Scheana. Okay. I don't know what to tell you because there's so many levels here. You did not have to, if you didn't want to talk about it publicly yet, you weren't ready to talk about it publicly, fine. Totally fine. She then goes on to say, like, I have not heard from Ariana since the news broke that Brock was cheated on me, and I was going through that while we were filming the last season. Ariana is supposed to be your friend. You may not have spoken in a while. Why did you not text her? You can text her. You're trying to communicate with somebody that you had a friendship with through headlines. You cannot expect her to, you cannot hold somebody accountable for hearing something about you in the press and then not reaching out to you about it. Text her. And again, I state there are so many in-betweens there that she could have taken. You didn't have to tell the cameras if you didn't want to, but what you could have done is said in private when no one was mic'd up, hey, Ariana, I know that you are going through this right now and it's a whirlwind. I do just want to tell you that I'm dealing with my own thing. I found out that Brock cheated on me and I'm not ready. I am not ready to tell the public yet because I am going to stay with him. Do you see how simple that is? Do you see how simple that? That's where Scheana is always going to lose me to a certain degree because she's like, look, I didn't make anything about myself. And then Brock pins this fucking apology on Instagram. And it's like, this happened years ago. You guys have moved on from it. You're still married. Like, we're just finding out about it. So what the fuck are you pinning this apology to Scheana for? Like, you didn't get caught cheating in 4K. She already knew that you told her. She already knew that you cheated and you guys moved past it. So what the fuck you pinning that on Instagram for? Just for shits and gigs, for show. It's all for show. And I do feel for Scheana in a way because she is clearly, she wants to be famous. She is she is famous. She's reaching for this level of fame so deeply that her judgment, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even know how to explain it. But Scheana, you'll always be famous, okay? You'll always be famous, beloved. Like, make no mistake. Make no mistake. Okay. And then the other pop culture thing that I wanted to get in, well, kind of a little topic, is, before we start talking about shows, is Whitney and Locken from Love Island season 10. So they broke up a couple months ago. I was not shocked. I don't think anybody was shocked. And I guess Locken made a video with a new girl and she seems to be black. I don't know. I don't know the young lady. I don't know who that is. I don't know her, what she got going on. And somebody, being messy, asked Whitney a Q&A on Snapchat and said, like, what do you think of, what Locken posted? Did you see it? And Whitney replied using another sister for clickbait. And people are like, oh, Whitney, come on. No. I'm sorry. First of all, they just broke up. Like, it's July. I think they broke up in like April or something. April, May, June, July. It's 3 months, 90 days. Okay, first things first. Secondly, she's speaking to her experience with him, and I did always feel like that he would use her for clickbait and views and things like that. And I did notice that when they broke up, his content was not circulating like it once was, like when he would post her. It's not that far-fetched. Is it nice to hear from homegirl? No, and she might be using him too. I don't know. We don't know. But I don't think Whitney's super out of line for saying what she said. First of all, she was asked. It's not like she got online and was just like, oh, using another sis for, like, she was asked. Did she have to answer? No, but that's what was on her spirit. And it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why y'all would set somebody up, ask them a question, and then be mad when they answer the question. Truthfully. I just, y'all, never mind. I'm just going to leave that there. Now, let's get into some Love Island UK things. Guys, I'm so baffled by so many people on Love Island UK. It's crazy to me, right? Lauren got dumped from the island. Lauren then begged Harrison. When I say, I was looking at her, ask him to, and I was like, stop that. You're begging. Why would a grown woman be begging like that? Okay. And I think she's like 24, still a grown woman. She gives me brat. Like she just gives me that she is like a huge spoiled brat. For real. I can't describe it. He's like, oh, I have to think about it. He does not leave with her immediately. He does not leave with her immediately. He leaves like the next day or 2 days later or something like that. And then on the outside of the villa, they're like doing all these like TikToks, and it's like girl who left the villa or who got dumped from the villa. And it's like boy who left voluntarily for her. That's not what happened. You begged. You had to ask. Had you not asked, you wouldn't have received. And let me tell you something. One thing I don't want to ask for is for someone to care for me and stop playing games with me. I don't want to ask for someone's attention. That's not how I want to receive. No. But, you know, we all were in our 20s once, I guess. To each his own. To each their own. I also cannot stand the men on this season of Love Island UK. I bitched about it last week. I'm going to continue to bitch about it. They are so nasty and so rude. So nasty and so motherfucking rude. It makes my skin crawl. The way they talk to these women. Like it angers me. Sometimes I watch it and I'm like, these girls, they're better than me, right? I think they have like this thing called Ofcom complaints or something over in the UK. I know for a fact I would have gotten some Ofcom complaints the way Dejan be talking to these girls. If that fucking around with me, they would have been like, Giselle, you have to get out of the villa. You have to get out of the villa because you're not about to talk to me crazy. Why are you so fucking disrespectful? Why? I'm going to ask again, why? And something called Women's Aid over in the UK put out a post saying like these men are disrespectful and manipulative and they're setting it up as if they're like weaponizing some terms and things like that. And I was like, oh, they ate that post. They ate that post right the fuck up. Other Love Island related things. Beyond the Villa. Beyond the Villa is such a low stakes show, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it whatsoever. But you know who I think has nasty spirits? Real nasty spirits. That's Connor and Aaron. Yeah. Because we have 3 episodes of Beyond the Villa now. Each episode, I have heard Connor mention Janae and why she does not want to fuck with him. And I am standing 10 toes down behind Janae. Once you disrespect me, I don't have to get over it. No, babe. You can say sorry. You can think that 12 years have passed. You can do whatever you want. I am going to do what I want. And what I don't want is to get over it. You disrespect me. I don't fuck with you. Get the fuck out of my face. Stop trying to be friends with my man. I think that shit's weird. I think that shit is fucking weird. And it's funny to me because something tells me with how sensitive Connor and Aaron are, if somebody disrespected them, they wouldn't necessarily want to be around them either. Aaron barely wants to make a TikTok with Kendall because he thinks he's better. On that No, oh, nope, I'm staying here. There is a comment made this week about Janae having Kenny on a leash. Some partners disrespect their partner's wishes. That's it. Hey, my partner has a problem with you, and that's who I am in a relationship with and I care for. So out of respect for them, I'm good on you. I am not losing anything by not having a relationship with you. I also don't love the way Kenny has gone about answering some of the things. I'm just going to be honest when like Janae's not around. Because it's that simple. I feel like Janae and I probably are a little bit similar with how we are, because I think she's 100% valid. I really do. I would never ever, if somebody was disrespectful, went on podcast, talked about my partner, and then was just microaggressive and rude to them, I don't need to have a fucking relationship with you. Don't talk to me. Don't ask me to come surfing. And it's not a beef. I'm not going to fucking cuss you out. Stay away from me. I feel like people have like a hard time understanding that. It's not beef. It's not like, I'm not going to yell at you when I see you. Stay the fuck away from me. And it's fine. Let's go back to the way things were before I knew who the fuck you were and you disrespected me. Sounds good. And people hate it when a black woman draws boundaries. Okay? One could say people hate it when women draw boundaries. Absolutely. But the next level of that, because we're going to talk about some intersectionality here. People hate it when black women draw boundaries, especially dark-skinned black women. So, like, you have to be for fucking real. If that girl don't want to talk to you, don't fucking talk to her. Don't talk to her man. Now, I will move on to Aaron. Aaron is so rude. Okay? Let me say this. We all know, especially after this season of Love Island, this past season that just happened, that the fans can absolutely be out of control. Absolutely. I'm not denying that whatsoever. The fans being out of control do not cancel out your behavior. And I fear that that's what's happening with Aaron. Also, Liv having her friends back and being like, girl, he played in your face the entirety of Casa. And I saw it. And I'm going to let you know, he's like, me and Kayla were, good. And then Liv showed up in New York and wound her back up. Did Liv show up in New York and wind her up? Or did Kayla finally see the things that Liv had seen and other people had seen? And she goes, oh, I'm not okay with this. Also, it's weird to me how he's like not taking to the account that he told her about all that stuff that he did with Daniela, kissing, putting his hands down her pants, all that, while we were filming the reunion. We watched him tell her at the reunion. She literally says, why did you not tell me that when we were alone in the hotel room for days before this? Why would you not tell me that? You told her on the reunion stage. So why what do you want her to do? Just start crying and run in the corner and be a little victim? No, you got cussed the fuck out. You got cussed the fuck out. And he's like, my mom, I hated that my mom had to see the audience reaction to it. Do you think your parents are the only parents that don't want to see their children be talked about that online? Shelly literally just said, like, my parents were really upset about the backlash that I was receiving. Like, it's not nice, but it does not change your behavior. Aaron was not great on Love Island. He was not. I don't think that means that the man shouldn't work and he should drop off the face of the earth or anything like that. But because the fans are mean to you does not mean that cancels out your behavior. 1, 2, he keeps talking about his castmates, and notice I said castmates, current castmates, because they're on the same show, Beyond the Villa. He keeps talking about them as if they are so desperate and they want to be there, and somebody dragged him up out of a bed in the UK and made him come here and do this. They did not. Actually, Aaron, you have been on more reality TV shows than anybody on that fucking show. He was on Traitors before he was on Traitors, the original one that takes place in the UK. He was on Traitors before he was on Love Island. Then he went on Love Island. Now he's on Beyond the Villa. You actually didn't go back to your 9 to 5, Aaron. You are a reality TV personality. That is your job. So I'm just confused to why he keeps trying to throw shade. Like, a lot of these people just want to be influencers and blah, 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 blah. You make YouTube videos. Now, you may not make YouTube videos doing TikTok dances and vlogs and things like that, but you still make YouTube videos. Just because you're in the woods building shit out of trees does not make you any less of an influencer. There are different types of influencers. He is very much so a fucking influencer. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? How, like, he doesn't have a 9 to 5. He didn't. If it was like that, he would have gone back to a 9 to 5. Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, so why are you trying to be so disrespectful and act like you are so much better than your castmates? Again, castmates, that all of y'all are on the same show together to make money. He even said, I had to do it to make money. Like, I needed to make money. You're acting like you're so much better than everybody else when you're here for the same reasons. And honestly, they have a lot. I mean, I'm sure the show, I don't know what the show pays, but they have more opportunities than it seems that he has. And then lastly, again, about Aaron, he wants to say, like, I was treated so badly. And I want to say shockingly, but I'm not shocked. People are falling for this baloney. People are like, oh, he got a bad edit. Oh, people will never let him live this down. His attitude is not great from what I see. He does not say nice things. Even when he was on live with Janae and Rob, they were talking about that producer Kelly, and both Janae and Rob were like, yeah, Kelly's great. We love her, blah, blah, blah. And Aaron's in the background throwing around middle fingers like, fuck her. And so only his mental health matters? What about Kelly's? Like, Rob had to hang up the fucking phone and was like, sorry, he's drunk. He's not nice. I'm like, ooh, the energy in the room on his scenes P fucking you. I cannot. I hate it. I was going to get into more Love Island stuff, but I don't want to. And I still can't believe that we are not going to see the Love Island reunion, season 7 reunion, we still have a month left. It comes out 1 month ago from yesterday, August 25th. I don't think, does anybody care anymore? Do y'all care? Like, do y'all let me know if y'all care. It couldn't be me. I also don't think that we're going to get any, like, new information. I don't think we're going to really get to the bottom of anything because so much, the fan backlash was so bad this season. Like, none of these, cast members want to actually sit there and resolve anything with anybody. There's been a lot said on podcasts. Ace is not doing podcasts, which, by the way, Ace he did his obligated interviews when he came out of the villa, and then he has not gone on anybody's podcast, but he did go live on TikTok last night and only made it so that subscribers could comment, and you have to pay to subscribe. The people are reporting that he made $350,000 from that live. That is more. That's double the prize money. And that's my thing. Do I agree with everything Ace did in the villa? No. Like, I didn't, like, love him. But I did not hate Ace the way everybody hated Ace. I think, I can't go back there. You know what I mean? He is smart. Everyone talking about, oh, he just wants money. Ace had a following before he went into Love Island, and I don't think people really understand, like, all of that stuff that he has. He was on the Jennifer Hudson show, that studio that he has. That shit costs money. I noticed his resources, like, he has resources as well, because those videographers that he hired or that were following him around, not cheap. Not cheap whatsoever either. So, and it's possible that they could have, worked out a deal, did some stuff for free. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I think Ace is smart for what he did, not going on somebody else's podcast and letting them profit off of him and profiting off of himself first. He also wrote a Love Island diss track. Very cute, like the beat. Very fun, liked the beat. No, I'm just kidding. Am I going to be, like, listening to it? No. It was funny. It's a first. Ready to move on. Now, let's get into some shows. The Valley season finale was this week, and oh my God. Listen, I said this. I said this already. At this point, it's baffling to me that Janet is so offended by being called a friend. I don't get it. Or being called a friend, being called a fan. She should just own it the same way Zach does. Because she gets so upset when Kristen says that, but, like, babe, it's true. So own it. But she's so, like, she wants to be so deeply, like, OG ingrained into this fan group, and you're just not. You can't buy time that you didn't have. You know what I mean? Make the most of the time that you have now. I don't understand it. I do not. Oh, she's so frustrating to me. Jason is also very frustrating to me. I will give them this. They present a united front. They really, really do. And again, that's about it. Because when Kristen and Janet were arguing and Jason was in it and everybody was like, Jason, come over here and let them talk. He's like, why? And they're like, let the women talk. He's like, oh, I forgot men can't have common sense. I don't know what type of red pill content you consume. That's not what anybody's saying. They're just telling you as a man, stay out of fucking female business. That's it. Okay. If the boys were arguing all the damn time, which who knows, because he do be letting her go toe to toe with them men, you would be like, Janet, let me handle this. You go over there. I would think, right? So he also says to Kristen, oh, if I told you I would let me back this up. Janet says, if I called you a whore and said I was going to slap you, you would be pissed. And Kristen literally goes, I wouldn't care. And I believe that. I don't think Kristen would give a fuck if somebody called her a whore. She's already been called a whore on this show and in Vanderpump Rules. I don't think she would care. One. And then Jason goes, if I called you a whore and said I was going to punch you in the face, that's different, Jason. You're a man. So yes, if a man calls me a whore and tells me he's going to punch me in the fucking face, yeah, I'm going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're crazy. But if me and another woman are going back and forth and I'm like, you're a fucking hoe and get the fuck out of my face before I slap you, that's not the fucking same thing, babe. Like, I want to believe that he's smart because he's a lawyer. But, and you know what? That's what he's using as the lawyer. Oh my God, the lawyer, like, logic. And Lord knows sometimes that logic is flawed. But the way they kept walking away, coming back. Was Zach making a fool of himself? Absolutely. But I don't care. All that damn screaming. I feel like Janet is so triggering to me. I feel like I feel like she could get some sentences out of me. Like, I am good at, like, walking away with things and just being like, okay, all right. Like, especially if it's not worth my fucking energy. I don't care. I can just be like, okay, bye. I feel like Janet might get me to be like, and another fucking thing, bitch. She's just so fucking frustrating. And Brittany is on my last nerve too. And Brittany is on my motherfucking last nerve too. All this neutrality. And at least Kristen and Zach say stuff about Janet, like, when Janet is around, right? When everyone is around, Janet acts like she is this victim and that she has never said anything about anybody ever before. But when she is with the likes of Sheena and Brittany and everybody else who's quote unquote on her side, she pipes up and she talks shit. She doesn't say anything to anybody's face, but in their face, she's trusting that people have not been told that she was talking shit. That's what I gather anyways. And I'm just like, ugh, girl, please. I'm so happy we are nearing the end with Jax Taylor because I can't. Y'all, I can fucking not. I cannot. And that's another reason I can't with Janet and Jason either. You want to sit here and talk about Danny's drinking? None of these people should talk about anybody's drinking. They really shouldn't. I'm so sorry. It's past the point. None of them can talk about anybody's drinking. But you want to sit there and talk about Danny's drinking when you being Jason, showed up to Jax's house, who just got out of recovery, whether it be for anger, whether it be for cocaine, whether it be for drink, he just got out of recovery. Anybody getting out of recovery for anything, drinking is not, they're not like, yeah, have some drinks, right? He brings beer over. And like, Jax is like, my problem isn't alcohol, it's anger. No one with anger issues, it's not like, oh, the alcohol is going to make my anger issues better. The deflection. Speaking of deflection, the Real Housewives of Miami. Bleh. What are y'all doing to my favorite franchise? It is very wonky. I don't like it. I will say though, by the time you guys listen to this, I might need to put it up again. But if you follow me on Instagram, I did share the video of all of Stephanie's like lies kind of put together. Per the video, because she liked to be suing people. She liked to be suing people. Per the video, she be suing folks, and the timelines are not adding up. Okay, the timelines are not adding up between her and Masood. And I wouldn't be shocked, because when Alexia said, do you want me to talk about Masood? She said, oh, no. She said, no, I don't. I said, oh, girl, at least you know. Okay, at least you know. I can respect that. I try with Stephanie, but she's coming in so hot on so many things. Like, I don't disagree with her, right? I think Lisa showing up late too and keeping the bus for 2 hours, of course, that is very inappropriate, very annoying. I still don't know why they didn't leave her. But the way she came at her, I was with Lisa. I don't know you. I don't fucking know you. So what the fuck are you talking to me like that for, girl? Girl, I wouldn't. And then same thing with Alexia. And Lord knows I don't like to be on Alexia's side, but you just got here. I don't care what you thought you observed. First of all, don't come over here talking about, oh yeah, we had a party for Todd at our properties. And then don't be saying, oh, yeah, that party, that narcissism party was all for Todd. And why are you getting back with him? And it really annoys me that Alexia is letting him. Stephanie, beloved. That ain't got nothing to do with you, babe. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It should not annoy you that Alexia is letting Todd play in her face. Let them play. Let them be two kids on the playground, because you don't know them people. Y'all, you're not friends with her. Like, even Marisol knows when to shut it up and tone it down. If Alexia thinks that getting on this show just 4 episodes ago and telling us that the cars are rented, the places are rented, nothing is real, he has no money, and that he hates this show. He hates this show. If she thinks that telling us all that and then a couple episodes later being like, I ran into him and, you know, I just saw a spark and we were, if she thinks that's smart, let her think that's smart. It's not. No, baby, it's not. Speaking of Alexia, so as we know, Gertie put the text messages up at her party. Again, we need to specify that it is her party. It was not a fundraiser. It was not a fundraiser for cancer. People keep confusing that. That's not true. And I understand why she did it, because again, I'm going to say, you throw a drink on me, I'm never coming off your ass. But then if I sit down with you and we agree to never talk about it again, and then you bring up in a social setting, oh, I'm really upset, my friend Gertie betrayed me by telling a secret, and you don't give the whole context, strike 1. Strike 2, you go up to my husband, my partner, and say, oh, you haven't, like, you start talking about the very thing you said we're not going to talk about. Julia's like, oh, well, Russell's only heard Gertie's side of the story. That's her husband. That's the only side he needs to hear is his wives. What fucking universe does this bitch live on? I highly doubt Martina heard about the situation and was like, I really need to hear Gertie's side of the story. Did she? No, she didn't. She stood by her wife and made excuses for her fucked up, stupid, shitty ass macro-aggressive behavior. That's what she did. And you know what? I don't care for Martina, but she stood by her wife. Okay? She stood beside her. Okay. So to think that Russell is worried about hearing your side, and to think that he would not go back and tell his wife, like, oh yeah, she over there trying to explain her side of the story to me. You're dense. I don't like stupidity. I like for 2 + 2 = 4. Like, don't even start. So of course she showed them text messages, and Jen Fessler was there. Did y'all see her in the background? Jen Fessler did say that on the cruise that it was just weird because there was no seat for Gertie. Gertie showed up with Julia, obviously. And she was like, it was kind of like she said it was kind of like high school, like bullying, like, oh yeah, there's no seat for you here. And Jen Fessler was like, why can we not pull up a table? Like, we're all part of this like Bravo universe. And Julia is trying to spin it as in Gertie's thirsty to be on the trip. You asked her to come. You asked her to be there. The fuck? Like, always trying to make somebody else the villain when it's you. It's you. Okay? I don't give a fuck that she adopted those boys and it wasn't permanent. You need to regulate your emotions. That has nothing to do with Gertie. Your issues with Gertie and yours for in the status of y'all's friendship has nothing to do with your adoption with those boys. Very happy those boys have a home, a stable home. There's 2 less young boys in foster care. That has nothing to do with your attitude towards Gertie at fucking all. So I need people to stop trying to conflate the two, because quite frankly, it's disgusting to me. I hate to see it. And I hated to see all of those women be like, oh, these text messages on the screen, it's so terrible. It's so terrible. We can't believe that. You didn't have a problem believing when she got a drink thrown on her. And then y'all were telling Gertie, you're defensive. You're defensive. You got a drink thrown on you, but you're defensive. Somebody might be defensive, but that doesn't mean I throw a drink on them. That just means that if I care to talk to them, I'm going to approach them in a different way. Or I'm not going to approach them at all, because they're too defensive for me to talk to. I don't give a shit. But I don't throw a drink on them. Let's be real. In Alexia swearing I'm down, Stephanie's trying to kiss Gertie's ass. You're trying to kiss Julia's ass. What the fuck are you talking about? I can't reason with these people because I don't understand stupidness. But it's not a shock to me that now Alexia is changing her tone. She did an interview with maybe Entertainment Tonight or something like that, and they asked her about the text message, and she goes, actually, I want to take it back to Julia throwing that water because that was wrong. Oh, so now you get that. Now you get that. In the moment there, y'all thought the audience was going to side with Julia, so that's who you went with. Now you see what people are saying, and you're changing your tune. Interesting. But Alexia is good for that. She is so good for that. Whatever the audience says, she will change it up. And that's what kills me, because in the moment, like, react however you want in the moment. If that was your natural reaction, this is reality TV, that's how you're feeling in the moment, then react. You know what I mean? And I'm all for people admitting that they were wrong. Okay, I can get with people admitting that they were wrong, but it's just like, girl, it's giving that you read the comments in this comment section and you're just trying not to get eaten alive now. And I don't have any respect for that whatsoever. But those are all my thoughts on anything pop culture related. Did I miss any? Oh, I did want to talk to y'all about one thing. I watched The Hunting Wives on Netflix, finished it all in like 2 days. Now, it's based off a book. When I watch something that I know is based off a book, I do look at the book ending. Like, I look what happened in the book before to see if the show will be the same. And from what I understand, they did change the ending they changed actually a couple things that happened in the show. No spoilers, right? It was good. It was like a little suspenseful. And at one point, everybody was getting on my nerves a little bit. And you know what? I like that. When everybody gets on my nerves a little bit, I can get with it. Y'all should watch it. Y'all should watch it because it's suspenseful, but not too suspenseful to where I'm like covering my eyes or anything like that. But I liked it. It's got Brittany Snow, Malin Ackerman, Quinn from Scandal. Y'all know who I'm talking about? I don't know her name. Sorry, lovely girl. Who else is in it? He was in My Best Friend's Wedding with Julia Roberts. Dermot? Is his name Dermot McKinney? Him. I don't know if that's his name, but that's who was in the show. And a couple other people. You'll recognize some faces. It was really good. I really suggest it. But that is going to go ahead and wrap up the pop culture TV part of this podcast. If you want to exit stage left now, you can. We are going to get into some personal life things, so I will give everybody a minute to go. Okay. So, first of all, I do want to say thank you to everybody who reached out to me after my episode last week where I, spoke about my mental health and spoke about getting on antidepressants. I will tell you, I did fill my script. I did pick it up. I have not taken it yet. I will tell you where my mind was at, right? I was like when I first picked it up, I was like, okay, you have to take it in the morning or at night. And then I was like, oh, I'll take it at night. Then I went to dinner and I had a couple drinks and I'm like, oh, I don't want to take it. I'm making excuses. But I didn't want to take the medication after I had been drinking, right? I didn't know how I was going to react to it. And it also said drowsiness. So was a possible side effect. So I didn't want to do that before I went to dinner. I am going to start taking them tonight after I record this. And this is a journey that we will go on together. I've gotten so much good feedback from you all about, just realistic about like how, you might feel. Of course, my doctor and I had a very long talk. I felt like I was kind of getting on his nerves a little bit, but he also was like, I appreciate you asking your questions always, because I know I've talked about this before, but I had blood clots in my lungs. So any medication that I take, I'm super, super, super like, I don't know. Is anal something we can say? Is that an offensive term now? For lack of a better term, anal. If that is offensive, I'm really sorry. I will never use it again. But sometimes I can be really anal and like paranoid about the medications that I take because I don't want to end up with blood clots in my lungs, right? But that is where we are at with that. I will be honest with you. It's been an interesting week, and we'll get into that a little bit later. As far as like, just things that I'm realizing, I touched on last week that I focus on relationships, the relationships in my life that are not like feeding me. So I'm kind of like searching for that approval from certain people. So like my dad, my Nana is one of those people that I search for a certain amount of approval for sometimes. And I have like a lot of heightened anxiety right now because I actually am going to be seeing my Nana and my whole extended family since my divorce. So actually, technically that's not true since they know that my marriage broke up. I did see them last summer. We were already broken up. The only person who knew that was my mom. So this is the first time I will be seeing my extended family since not only, everybody knows that I'm divorced now, but also since I have been in a relationship with Megan. And obviously I told my mom are close. My mom has known that obviously that I'm in a relationship with Megan, and she knows that we live together and all of that. They haven't met yet, but they will be meeting next week. I am really excited for that. My Nana, I'm trying to figure out how I want to word this because sometimes I forget that it is possible for my family members to be listening to this. But they repeat a lot of stuff to my mom, and I will give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to say like it's in the spirit of being messy, but I mean, I think we all know how like family dynamics can be, and especially Black family dynamics, right? So my mom, she's like, when I saw her 2 weeks ago, we went to Atlanta, and she was like, just so you know, everybody knows that you are dating Megan. And I was like, oh, I mean, I wasn't hiding it, right? It's all over social media. And I do have some of my family members on social media. I have my Nana blocked on everything just because she is messy as hell. But I was like, okay. And there were a couple comments that were made from, I think what led to me blocking my Nana on everything was there was a couple comments that were made that were told to me about me not dressing. She said, I guess Giselle doesn't want to dress like girly anymore. And that was like the first thing that was said that I was like, okay, so she knows that I'm dating a girl. But all I had on was jeans. Like I had on jeans and a t-shirt in the photo that she saw of me. And I was like, what the fuck? And I didn't like it. You know what I mean? It's something stupid to say. She is, an 80-plus-year-old Black woman, but still, I don't have to like those things. And I think that there's sometimes when I get sad, like I told my mom this the other day and she was like, really? I still get sad about the relationship between me and my dad because it sucks. You know what I mean? But me and him are never going to have the relationship that we would have is never going to be like to my standards. And I think it would hurt me even more to have that just for the sake of like talking, if that makes sense. Kind of the same thing with my Nana. It would hurt me more to try to like foster this relationship. And it's not, I know how these people are, right? There's no love loss. There might be love loss with my dad, but that's a different story for a different day. But I just, for me, it is what it is. But sometimes I do get like really up in my head about that relationship. And again, that's part of me like searching for these approvals from people that I'm not going to get the approval or the relationship or the love that I personally need from them. So I will say I am very, very, very nervous to see my family and just like be around them. Also, and this is so interesting and kind of off topic. Well, on topic, nervous to see them also because like I am not, my family will tend to say comments about, weight, and not just mine, anybody's. And I am not in the thinnest shape that I have ever been in, obviously. But I don't mind how I look. Like, just to be quite honest, I don't mind how I look. I go to the gym. Exercise is like a release to me, but it's not like, I don't do programs. I don't, I lift weights. I like feeling strong, things like that. But I was in a swimsuit for the first time all summer this week. And I was like, I've had so much swimsuit anxiety and I don't know why. But it felt good to block that out. Now, we will get into, if you made it this far, honestly, congratulations, you deserve it. Another life update from me. I did get fired from my job this week, and it was unexpected. And you know what? The most I have to say, this is the last time I'm really going to be like talking about it. I may make some jokes and whatnot, but before I get into what I'm going to say, I want to say this is my platform, okay? And I have given them enough access to me and my platform that I don't want to give them anymore, to be quite honest. They don't deserve it. Not at all. So, and I also want to say, I am going to miss my staff so much. I think that was, I know that was the hardest part when I was sitting there with them and they were firing me. All I could think about was my staff, and that's like always going to be my staff. You know what I mean? They have said the sweetest things. I mean, I was crying because of how badly I was going to miss them. One, two, like they have been texting me and saying all these things all week that I literally am like, I will cry right now. Like it was I love all of those people. I did not hire all of them, but I got to work with them and become close with them and be their leader. And I'm proud of that. I am proud of the team that I built. I'm proud of the work that I did. And no matter what they try to say and tarnish my name and say about me to cover their own asses, you can't take away the work that I did, and I am proud of myself. So there were some stressful conversations last week, and I will say I had been feeling a type of way for a while. And I will say from my point of view, I felt like I started to feel like probably within the last month that there were some not truths happening, and I felt like I was being set up. I really did. And I still think that. So got to work Tuesday, went in, or didn't even get out. I got out of my car, didn't even like fully have my bags. And they came outside. One of them came outside and said like, hey, can you come talk to us real quick? And I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. This is how this is going to go. So go in there, sit down. And they're like, this is a hard conversation, blah, 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 blah. We've decided to let you go. We just don't see the growth in you. So it's a very quick conversation. I'm like, okay, only thing that I have to say is I have fired people there before, right? Like I had to. It's not ever fun. I said my main takeaway from this is all of this time I have worked with y'all. I have fired people with y'all. I said the one thing that you always told me is you need to document everything. You need to make sure that you send them the messages and recap the conversations so that when we fire people, it does not come off as a surprise. And I said to her, I said, color me shocked. I said, don't get me wrong. I definitely thought that we were going to have a conversation today and there was going to be some restructuring going on. I said, I didn't expect this. And of course, she's like, well, the decision is made. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'm not asking for a fucking job back. I'm observing. I'm showing you how you did not practice what you preached to me as one of the managers in your company. And you know what? I got to say, I got caught slipping. And what I mean by that, my mom said to me, she goes, Giselle, and it's so many people were like, you trust them? People did not say bad stuff. Well, of course, people said bad stuff. You know what I mean? We had that whole thing last year. All that shit went down. I was honestly defending my staff. I stand by all of that. I was defending my staff people were making money. I didn't think that they should be punished for anything that happened in the past. And I just shouldn't be punished for anything that happened in the past before we worked for the company, right? So, everybody will be like, you trust them? You trust them? I mean, even my ex-best friend, I remember her asking me over and over. She was like, you really trust them? So many people asked me that. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I trust them. What's that saying? Put your faith in the nigga, stupid hoe, how you figure? Okay, well, I put my faith in them white women. I really did, okay? Because at the end, it's funny because I had a conversation last week with one of the owners, and I pointed out how often there I felt othered. And I felt not just in the sense that I was the only full black woman right there. I said that when it came to like the management structure and how everything was broken down, I really was like on an island on my own in the middle. And I was like, oftentimes I feel othered. I said, I feel like if I'm upset or if I'm having a rough day, you guys act like, oh shit, like Giselle's like, she's unreasonable. You can't talk to her. I said, but I can very much tell when you guys are upset and you're having rough days. And that's fine. People have rough days. I said, but when it's me, it feels like it's something else. And of course I got the no, absolutely not, da, 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 da. And I was like, okay, we wrapped up that conversation. She's like, can you promise me moving forward, the conversation before the firing, can you promise me moving forward that, we'll be more open and you'll call us up and all of this stuff. And I was honest, like they like the pushback culture, like, oh, if I say something, push back on me. I don't, as a black woman, I think that's setting me up to fail. I think that is setting people up to fail, but especially me, because as soon as I push back, the way I push back with the dynamics, I know that we all can sit here and say that, no, it doesn't matter. It's not that. I'm a liberal. I'm this, I'm that. You're still fucking white women. You're still fucking white women. And you don't understand. You'll never fucking understand what it was like to be in my shoes. And it's not all bad there. It was not all bad. Not whatsoever. You know what I mean? I'm leaving with fond memories with some of those people still. And I think for that point in my life that I really needed that environment, especially coming off of what I was coming off of previously when I was in North Carolina and everything like that. But I do find it crazy that, again, they would tell me, you got to get the documentation. You got to, make sure you tell these people the corrective actions, all this stuff. I received none of that. And then to hear that they're telling the staff, oh, this has been in the works. We've been thinking about this for 6 months. One of two things. That's either a fucking lie or you don't make smart business decisions, because if you've been thinking about that for 6 months, it's July 26th. In March, I got a fucking raise, and that's on paper. So I'm sure they got one of their little fucking cronies listening to this. I suggest you stop saying that shit. It's not smart. If you were thinking about this for 6 months, where were my write-ups? If you were thinking about this for 6 months, where were my pips? I mean, come on. I find it funny that we had a white passing woman in the bar being a fucking terror to everybody. And it took them forever to allow me to finally say, like, okay, I think we're done. We should fire her. She got more chances than me. Again, never written up, never anything. But my mom poured into me and she said, like, and I was running a bar. It's not rocket science. I don't think that nobody can do it. It takes a lot of work. Dealing with people is a lot of work. And I do not approach any team that I manage. I don't approach them like, oh, just that's who I'm talking to, like just an employee. I know this employee may learn better like this, and this one learns better like this, and I have to approach this one like this. That's how I approach. My mom always said to me, like, I have to parent you and your brother differently. That's my approach when it came to like my teams and stuff, right? So, I just think it's interesting that it's all, oh, documentation until it's time to get rid of the fucking black girl. It's, oh, we need to have this in a row until it's time to get the fucking nigga up out of there. And I'm speaking so fucking freely right now because it's such bullshit. It's such bullshit. But I don't think that I have ever felt more free in my fucking life, free of the bullshit. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, before we get even for any further, because I have had people like message me and be like, oh, I'm gonna write them a Yelp review, I'm gonna write them a Google review. I don't want you to do that. Like I said, there are still people there that my staff, my former staff, I care about so much. Like, I will tell you, I thought there's one staff member there that I thought fucking hated me. Like, I really did. She sent me the nicest fucking message. I bawled because I really was like, damn, I thought she would be like, hallelujah, praise Jesus. I thought she would be like, oh my God, thank God. She said the nicest stuff to me. I was like, oh wow. Like, I'm shocked by that. And the things that my staff has said to me, my former staff, it is so satisfying knowing that I cared for them while I could, and they felt heard and they felt represented by me, and I am leaving them better than I left them. So I love them to death. I know that I will still see them around, but as far as everything else, good fucking riddance. I feel very free. I feel like all of the things that I said that I wanted for my life, like to have kids, I want to be able to buy my mom a house. I want to, pour into my content in this podcast and everything. I was letting that fucking job get in the way of doing my shit. I really was. Like, that's the simplest way to put it. So God moved it out of my fucking way. And that's fine. Okay? Like, whoever thinks, I think I said this last week, if you think you're getting over on me, have at it. If you think that you're better off without me, be better off without me. That's romantic situations, professional situations. It is what it is. All right? I'm not saying that I was a peach and like all of this stuff every day. But again, like I said, I had a conversation with one of them and went like, no, I know that my energy is off and terrible sometimes too. It it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to, what did my mom say to me? My mom said, Giselle, it doesn't matter if you are running a bar or building a fucking plane. When they see your black ass doing it and doing it better than what they would have done, they're going to say, oh no, who the fuck does she think she is? And that's exactly what happened. But for the record, I know who I am. I know who I am. And that's more than I can say for a lot of people up in there. So I hope they wrap their hands around it. I hope they get in there and they really just, they take off, because that's what they deserve. I am excited for this new chapter in my life. Honestly, truly, I don't love not having a job, but at this point, we're at like 4 days. I feel really optimistic. My mind feels very clear, and I'm excited to see what's next for me, honestly, truly. And obviously, I will take all of y'all along with me. I hope that some of those people I never have to fucking see again. However, I know that I will. I also am planning on them doing some very, very, very petty shit, but that's not in my control, and that don't have anything to do with me. People seem to love my sloppy seconds all around. But that's going to be it. Y'all, don't forget to drop down and comment if you're on YouTube. Don't forget to rate all of those things on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And I will talk to y'all next week. Bye.